Hello and welcome back to Fallout 76. Today, I am on the public test server to have a look at the laser rifle. So with the current season, we actually got our update to pistols, which included a base damage increase to most pistols, but not all. The laser gun and the plasma gun actually did not get a base damage adjustment because they can also be made as a rifle. So that's going to be coming with the next season. That will be the June update. And what we'll be looking at today is the automatic version of a laser rifle. So this is the one we'll be using. It is quad with extra critical damage, reduced AP cost, and because it is quad, so we're not getting any more damage from the primary effect, I decided to put polished on that third star. So the most recent update to the PTS actually gave us an increase to most weapons condition, which means things generally just wear out slower. And I played with the laser rifle a bit, and I've noticed the condition bar just isn't dropping, so to me that seems like it makes it a really good candidate for polished. And the reason I went with quad, if you run this as an automatic, the ammo capacity is only 21, which is just not enough for something with this high of a fire rate. So we put it up to quad, which is kind of funny. I mean, you would not think that 4 times 21 is 111, but I guess that it is. One other difference from live is that third star, the reduced AP cost. On live, it is 25% less AP cost. On the PTS, it is 35%. And so that actually brings the AP cost down. On live, the same weapon is 7 AP cost, and on the PTS, it is 5. So this is very AP efficient now. So we've got Downranger, which will give us an extra 20% damage to far enemies. And I have the science card where our current intelligence is. This is giving us a 26% boost to our energy damage. I'm using Gorilla for the range damage to close enemies. That way, there's a little bit of a gap between close enemies and far enemies, so there'll be a small margin where I'm not getting any bonus damage, but most of the time, I'm going to be getting 20% to most enemies, whether I'm near or far. And we have Adrenaline, which stacks really nicely when you're facing groups of enemies. Also using better criticals and critical savvy because we will be doing critical hits, and Bloody Mess for a little bit of extra damage. All right, here are the mutations. Speed Demon's important here because of the extra reload speed. Egghead is important. That boosts our intelligence, which boosts the effect of the science card. And Eagle Eyes for extra critical damage. And as far as food, the important one here is Sweet Mute for tea for extra critical damage. So I actually tried quite a few configurations of this just to see what I like the best. I actually ran it with a splitter for a bit. I put a splitter and I had explosive on that second star. And my motivation there was thinking that I could use Love the Spread to get me a 30% boost to damage, because the normal, or not damage, I'm sorry, boost to range, because the normal range on this is only 126. And so I thought, well, 30% boost is decent. However, when you put a splitter on it, it drops the range down to 102. So basically, Love the Spread just brings the range up to what I would be getting already, but I'm splitting the damage into little tiny pieces, so it's just less effective. So there we are as far as that goes. I mean, you can see it's a solid performer. I wouldn't call it spectacular. Having gun, well, oh wow, dropping down on me anyway. You can see though, adrenaline really cranks up that damage. We're at maximum adrenaline here, so we're making quick work of everything. The downside of this weapon though is the range. Well, there's actually a few downsides versus say, like an assault rifle, for example. I mean, number one, the range is just much lower. So you have to be a little bit closer. I mean, even at this range, I mean, look how, I mean, super mutants don't have very high accuracy on their heads, but look how close I am just to get sort of somewhat decent accuracy. Let's see how we do there. I mean, the accuracy just isn't, yeah. I mean, it just doesn't have crazy high accuracy just because of the range. Another downside is you can't put a suppressor on it. So this is definitely not a sneak weapon. I think because of those things that the laser gun should do, I think it should do a lot more damage than it actually does. I think compare it to, say, an assault rifle, which is kind of the top dog at the moment for commando weapons. I would say it should be maybe 50% higher than something like that, just because you are sacrificing range and you're sacrificing the lack of a suppressor. Also, the ammo capacity is pretty bad, 21, and you can get. I mean, you're not going to get a lot more with a. Something like an assault rifle, although you can put a drum magazine on an assault rifle and get it up to, get it up to 30. So with this, yeah, you're just not doing that. So, but for a close-up weapon, another thing that's good about this though, it's also very stable. If you want to just, if you want to do hip fire like that, there we go. If you want to do hip fire, this thing is very stable. And the damage is good. Nice fire rate too. Let's see, where are we? All right. Decent VATS accuracy, although robots tend to have pretty high percentage. That's not what I want. That's what I want. Get the thruster, the most bang for our buck. Hit those weak spots. But yeah, this makes quick work of everything for the most part. Most regular enemies anyway. It's, all right, there we go. I do like having the ammo capacity, but I have played around with this a lot. You know, I've modded it a bunch of different ways, and that condition bar just is not moving, which is why I ended up putting polished on it, just because it was holding up so well. Now, one advantage this does have over other commando weapons is you can actually get the AP cost down lower than you can, say, an assault rifle or even a plasma rifle, or I guess plasma pistol. With plasma guns, a pistol is actually the most AP efficient. With this, it's a rifle. But yeah, the cheapest I can get those other commando weapons is down around 7. I think 7 is the lowest I can get. And on this, we're at 5. So there is one advantage. It has, and stability. Yeah, this is very stable. So I probably would not put stabilized as a 3rd star or as a 4th star on this. You just don't need it. It's very stable as is. Okay. We don't seem to be doing too well against that guy. I also tried explosive as a 2nd star instead of extra critical damage. And explosive is fun. I mean, it gives you some nice visuals and it's effective. I think it's probably pretty close one way or the other, whether I just happen to like critical damage more, but it's probably pretty close in terms of, you know, overall damage. The thing about explosive though is you need more perks. You need to be running Demo Expert, which I do have equipped, but that is another perk requirement if you're going to get the most out of this. You want Demo Expert and probably Grenadier as well. Let's see what we got. Yeah, the accuracy, all the accuracy on those spouts is, but you can see we're able to stay in VATS and we have a nice ammo capacity with quads. So yeah, that combination is actually pretty good. The downside about the low range is it makes shooting things out of the sky a little more difficult. So we'll just play around with the minions for a bit and see if we can get the attention. Well, we got her attention, looks like. Something was shooting me from over here. There we go. I knew someone was over here, but I do think running this as, how dare you? Running this as quad is probably the only way I would do it as an automatic. Now, as a semi-automatic, maybe not as much. All right, that's getting it. Oh, we did a cripple. It took a lot of bullets to get, what is happening here? Prize bot? Good timing for you. Let's see, and it's landing, I think. Right on top of me. Hopefully I don't have, all right. Not too dramatic of a fight. So one thing I will say about this weapon, it is not something you want to take against the Guardian. The amount of, because the shield anyway is considered a limb, this thing just doesn't do much damage at all. I tried taking it against the Guardian and it took forever to get the shield down. Yeah, it took a really long time. It just wasn't the best weapon for that particular task. But for the most part, I would say as an automatic version at least, this feels pretty similar to the way it feels in the live version of the game. It just takes a lot less perks to get there. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit one of the buttons, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Thank you very much.